Yeah, but it's not. It's speaking correctly.
Assalamu alaikum. Alrighty, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walahu wa ba'd. Today's discussion, we actually began speaking about a brief overview of what we learned last class of two opposites. Can someone identify what those opposites we learned were? There's two concepts that are oppositional to one another. The first one was the example of the word inna, and the second one was not ka'anna, was the word kana. How are inna and kana like described as being two opposite concepts?
They give the opposite. Inna and its sisters and kana and its sisters.
So why is it that we call them opposites, or what is oppositional about them?
They give different harakat.
One of them inna is
Okay.
For the subject and
they give the
subject and
One gives the rafa'at state to the subject. Which one does that? Okay, yeah. Really? Kaana gives rafa'at to the subject, and Kaana does what to the predicate? The nasab state. Good. So we learn about the fact that whenever we look at inna and Kaana, they both have an impact on two words. What are the two words they have an impact on? Called the mubtada and the khabar. Or in English we like to say the subject and the predicate.
Can you write that every word underneath it?
Mubtada and the predicate is, can someone remind me? Okay, al-mubtada wal-khabar. Now, what we did learn is that inna and kana are similar in that they both affect the mubtada and khabar. But how they affect the mubtada and khabar is oppositional. So for example, inna, what does inna do to its subject? It puts it into the nasab state. And inna does what to its predicate? In the rafa'at state. Very nice. Whereas kana does what? It gives the rafa'at to its subject, and it gives the nasab to its predicate. Two examples that I'd like to be able to cite. Inna Allah what? Okay, Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir does not show you any nasab state. So think again. Ala kulli shayin qadirun. There's no nasab there. Very good. Thank you, Ali. Inna Allah ghafuran. Inna Allah ghafurun. Whereas kana, on the other hand, is the opposite. So can someone give me an example of the word kana? Very nice. So kana Allahu ghafuran. Very nice. So inna and kana kind of work as opposites. Now we learned about some sisters of inna and kana. Let's review those real quick before we put this subject to a close. Very good. We have anna. Do you remember what anna means?
Anna means
That. Very nice. What's an example of anna? A sentence we say every day or hear every day. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That's an example of anna. What's another sister of inna? Wa'il, help me out. No, you don't know any. Subhanallah. Safi, we already said anna.
Later. There's another one before that though.
There's many before that. Ka'anna. What does ka'anna mean, everyone?
It is that though.
It is as though. What's an example we did in class? You guys wrote it down. Let's try to see if anyone has that info accessible. An example of ka'anna. كأن القمر. No, I didn't say that. مصباح. كأن القمر مصباح. What does that mean?
It is as though the moon is a lamp.
It is as though the moon is a lamp. Very nice. We did another one besides كأن, another sister of inna. Can someone remind me of what that sister may be? We did inna, anna, كأن. لكن, very nice. Lakin, Sara is actually a sister of Kaana, not Inna. Sara, no, not Sara. What did you say? Sorry. Lakinna. Lakinna means what? However. So, what was it? An example we did yesterday of lakinna. We talked about the house being new. Al-Bayt. Inna hadha al-Bayta jadidun. ولكن الأثاث قديم. What does that mean, Shamrais?
إن هذا البيت, indeed this house is new. ولكن الأثاث, but the furniture is old.
Very nice, mashallah. So we have an example of lakinna being used here. We have two more sisters of inna that we learned about. What are the last two? Later. Very good. What did later mean? If only. And what was the other one? La'alla. What does la'alla mean? Hopefully. Alright, so the examples of these, I think we've done enough of. Let's move on and try to figure out what the sisters of Kaana are. And there are many sisters of Kaana. I've only shared with you two sisters that make up the majority of what we'll find in the Quran as an introductory level. So we did Kaana, and then we did Sara, and then we did Laysa. So Kaana, Sara, and Laysa all have the same effect. What was an example of the word Laysa? No, I need one that we did in class, because that one doesn't show the nasab state. Doesn't show nasab. I'm going to say it aloud.
ليس هذا المسجد بيتك.
ليس هذا المسجد بيتك. What does that mean? This masjid is not your house. Where's the word is not coming from? From laysa. And how do we see the effect of laysa in this sentence? Laysa هذا المسجد بيتك. What effect is laysa having on this sentence? ليس هذا المسجد بيتك. بيتك. What is it doing there? It's giving it the nasab state. Why? Because Laysa is a sister of Kaana, and Kaana does what to the predicate? The nasab state. Where is it giving the raf'at state when I say Laysa هذا البيت هذا المسجد بيتك? هذا المسجد. We have a word in the raf'at state. Malik, you following? Ali, you following?
Yeah.
In and out?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, alhamdulillah. All right, so knowing that there are many examples of laysa, I wanted to introduce you to one last idea about laysa, because this will inevitably come in your radar anytime you start looking for the word laysa. Laysa has one final caveat, which is that the final catch is the fact that you might not ever see something in the nasab state whenever it is that you see the word laysa. You guys understood what I just said?
Yeah.
Every time you see laysa, not always will you find a word in the nasab state. Why is that? Well, let's first and foremost look at a few sentences. as examples. I'm gonna say Muhammadun Dhakiyyun. What does that mean, guys?
Muhammad's smart.
Muhammad is intelligent. Alright, now I want to make this sentence the negative version of what I just said. So what would I be trying to say?
Muhammad's dumb.
Okay, I don't want to change the word smart to dumb, but I just want to insert negation.
So not.
Exactly. And what's the word for not that we learned?
Laysa.
Laysa. So how would I fill Laysa into the sentence? Okay, Laysa can be in the beginning, and it doesn't have to be in the beginning.
Oh, it doesn't.
Okay? It doesn't have to be. But let's put it there for now. What would I say? Dhakiyan. Laysa Muhammadun Dhakiyan. Why did you guys keep Muhammadun as Muhammadun?
The
Subject stays in the Rafa state. And Dhakiyun we changed into Dhakiyan. So one fact about the word Laysa is that sometimes what happens is that the word be comes before the predicate. What does that mean? Well, what's the predicate in the sentence? Muhammadun Dhakiyyun. Dhakiyyun. Now let's put Laysa in the beginning of the sentence again. What do we have? Laysa Muhammadun Dhakiyyan. Okay? Now, what you optionally can do is you can insert beep right before the predicate. So how would I say that sentence? Laysa Muhammadun Bidhakiyyin. Because B is a harf jar. So do you see the nasab state can no longer be seen? Why?
Because
the harf jar has a powerful effect.
So it overrides it.
It overrides any nasab stuff happening. Y'all understand? So for example, in the Quran, we have the ayah at the end of Surah Al-Tin, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَحْكَمِ الْحَاكِمِينَ. Now, if you think about it, where's the B in this ayah? Ahkam, right? Right before ahkamil. Now, what if we, for the sake of an exercise, not in an attempt to modify the Quran, what if we tried saying those same words, but we optionally didn't use the B? How would we say the ayah? Alaysa Allahu ahka mal. Why ahka mal? It's the predicate of laysa, which has to be in the nasab state. So we would say the sentence Alaysa Allahu ahka mal hakimin. Alaysa Allahu ahka mal hakimin. But you're allowed to insert B before the predicate of laysa, which is what's happening in the ayah. Alaysa Allahu bi ahkam al hakimin. Also in the 20th juz, we have an ayah which says, let's check where it is. Alaysa Allahu bi kaf. Alaysa Allahu bi kafin. Where do we see the B? Preceding the word gaf. That tells you that the word gafin is what in the sentence grammatically? That's the predicate itself. That's the khabar itself. So you'll see it. So in this ayah, Allah is saying, Alaysa Allahu. Can someone tell me what Alaysa Allahu would mean? Is Allah not ahkam al-hakimin bi ahkam al-hakimin in Surah Al-Tin? What does that mean? Hakam is wisdom, justice, hikmah. Ahkam is the wisest. So Alaysa Allahu bi ahkam. What does that mean?
Is Allah? It's like asking a
Is
question.
Allah the wisest or is Allah not the wisest? Al-Hakimeen, of those who have wisdom. Is Allah not the wisest of anyone who has wisdom? Similarly, in this ayah that I've written down, أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ. Kaf means sufficient. So what does أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ mean? Is Allah not sufficient? The next part of the ayah is Abda, sufficient enough for his servant. Is Allah not sufficient? Can Allah not take care of them? So these are rhetorical questions, they're not real questions. It's supposed to get you to think. If you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient, why do you act like He's not? If you know Allah is the wisest, why do you act like He doesn't know what He's telling you to do? Why do you override your deen with your intelligence? Right? So it should provoke you to think. When we see laysa in a question form in the Quran,
And Sheikh, B, what does B mean again?
B can be translated here.
Oh, okay.
B means with. So it doesn't make sense to us in English.
So, okay. Like, let's say you're just in a conversational manner. Like, would you ever, or like you're just writing, or would you ever put B there just to put B there?
Yeah. A lot of times. Yeah.
Even if it doesn't have a meaning?
Yeah, get that too many.
It actually increases the meaning.
Okay.
Like in Arabic, the general phrase is anytime you say something more, when you could have said it in less, that means you're really stressing the importance of that thing. So there's a point to it, right? If there's two ways to say something in English, but then you choose the long, meticulous, clumsy, and confusing method, you're doing it for a reason, right? So in reality, there's always a reason. Even if I'm telling you it doesn't have a meaning, that doesn't mean that it is meaningless. That doesn't mean that it's not conveying meaning. It's just not conveying it in words. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like, for example, if I'm like looking at you in a certain way, if I'm looking at you in a certain way from the corner of my eye, just because I'm not saying something that makes sense doesn't mean that I'm not projecting meaning. Okay? Just like body language has that component where it's not the words doing the talking, but it's just your mass, your physical reality doing the talking, right? In the Quran, we have words that don't have English meaning equivalents, but that doesn't mean that they're not functional. There's a function to it. Its function is that when you say be, what you're doing is that you are asserting that A is not B. Like if I say Hamidun laysa bidhakiyan, what am I saying?
It's clearly not intelligent.
Hamid definitely doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not smart. If I say Hamidun laysa dhakiyan,
Hamid is not smart.
he's not intelligent, right? When I say B, it's emphasizing that A is not B. So there's always a point to it. Yeah. أَلَيْسَ فِي جَهَنَّمَ مَثْوًى. And now you're not going to be able to do the grammatical construction of that ayah. With respect. So that's the thing. In the Quran, you might have to get a big sample size of this word to come across a situation where you're like, oh, I see the nasab state. Because grammar is like, we're layering. We're just putting the bottom layers of the lasagna. We haven't gotten to the good stuff yet. Yeah.
When you have B within a statement that has laysa, does a laysa like negate the B? So he said, what was the statement he said?
Hamidun dhakiyun?
Yeah,
Hamidun laysa bi dhakiyin?
yeah, so basically you're saying Hamid is not with intelligence?
No. Honestly, the B, we're not going to translate it as with. It's just something the Arabs attach with laysa sometimes, and sometimes they don't.
Can B go with the sisters?
No. What sisters?
Like, could it go with Salah?
No, B doesn't cause a nasab state. It causes the jar state, right? It's a hard jar. All right. So that is the final component of the discussion of inna, anna, ka'anna, lakinna, layta, la'alla, laysa, sara, and kana. Today we look at something new, and what we're looking at today is al-amr wa nahy. Al-amr wa nahy.
Oh, the commands and the questions?
Not the question.
Negations?
Yes.
Don't do. Al-amru wa nahy.
That's lesson 9.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh.
Al-amr wa nahy. Now, what we want to actually first get to is the brass tacks. What is this all about? This is how, in Arabic, we form a command phrase. So technically this falls under sarf. We're learning how to morph words. We call that a sarf. How to change words. Just like you guys learned yafalu, yafalani, yafaluna, this too is a part of sarf. Forming the amr and forming the nahi. What is a nahi? A negative command.
Negative command.
A prohibition. What's a negative command? When you
Oh, like don't.
You better not.
Stop.
say don't do, right? Don't do something. Don't eat. Don't drink. Don't stand. That's called a nahi. In order we have the word nahi.
Nahy.
It's actually nahi, right? Or the origin is probably that of nahi.
Yeah.
So we have an amr and nahi. How do we form an amr and a nahi? First off, it's pretty simple. Ask yourself, who am I commanding? This is not how the book explains it. And I'm explaining it in this way because this will prove valuable over time when we learn more advanced forms of commands. In Arabic, there are weird types of command words. For example, you have some command words which they don't have any logic to them. They're just things that the Arabs said that worked in getting animals to move. So there's a command in Arabic which is bakh or nakh, which is how you get the nakh is the Arabic command for telling a camel to sit down. And this is a universally understood language that they found the camels understand this word, which means sit.
No,
Yes.
I'm gonna try it.
So like cat.
So there are some commands that don't follow logic. They just follow the fact that the Arabs used them like commands. They don't have any like verbal structure. They're not connected to some other words. It's just that worked, it worked. Okay? And then there are commands that are like English commands. In English, you can command someone you're talking to. Right? And then in Arabic, we have a third type of command, which is commanding someone that's not even in front of you. Like someone you're not talking to, but you're commanding them. And in reality, what you're saying is they should do something. Even though you can't yell at them to tell them to do something, but it's a third person command, which is like saying, he should do this, she should do this. In Arabic, that's a type of command phrase as well. So the reason that I'm teaching you it this way is because these steps will continue to help you even when you study different forms of commands. So you ask yourself, who are you commanding? Let's imagine I came into this room and I wanted to command 1, 2, or 3 of you. Let's just pick any of those. You guys think 1, 2, or 3?
1.
We're commanding 1. Okay. So when we command one person, we got to figure out who that person is. Let's just pretend it is one male. Okay? Am I talking to him when I'm commanding him? Or am I talking about him? Normally, when I command someone, I'm talking to them. So if I'm talking to them, we have to grab the second person verb in present tense. In present tense, which is correlated to the amount of people and their gender. So matching those commandees. Okay? So who is our commandee here?
The male.
The man, and it's singular. So let's imagine, what am I trying to command him to even do? Let's imagine I'm commanding him to, let's say, ride the horse. Now, anyone remember how we say ride? In past tense? Not rakaba, rakiba. And the bab of this verb is sami'a yasma'u. So what's the present tense of rakiba? On the pattern of sami'a yasma'u. You guys remember that or no?
Yeah.
Yeah? Or should we go backwards?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, yarkabu. But is that our second person verb?
No.
that corresponds to the command. Is that second person? No, it's not. Second person never starts with ya. So what is the second person version of yarkabu? Yarkabu. Very nice. That's step 2. Okay? Step 3. This is where it gets a little interesting. Step 3. If you're commanding remove the present tense indicator in the beginning. The present tense prefix. What is the present tense prefix in tarkabu? The ta. So remove the ta in this case. So if you remove the ta, what do we get here? We can't say this right now because we can never start a word with sukoon. When words start with sukoon, the Arabs, they like to put a fake hamza before it.
That's why we say it. Okay, that makes so much sense.
Okay? So we put a hamza, we call that hamza hamzatul wasl, which means it's like a temporary hamza that's put in to the word in order to connect it, in order for you to pronounce it. Okay? So step 4 would be insert hamzatul wasl in the beginning. And I'll show you that hamza in just a second. Hamzatul wasl in the beginning. All right, we got hamzatul wasl. I'm sorry, we're still not done. There's a 5th step.
Yeah.
Step 5 is look at the second letter of the verb.
Okay.
Second letter of the verb. What's the verb, guys, that makes up this right here? Ra, kaf, and ba. Okay? If it has fatha or kasra, the hamzatul wasl gets a kasra. Yeah, in the Quran, right? And if the second verb letter, the second letter of the verb has a dhamma, the hamza gets a dhamma. I'm sorry for the long steps, but inshallah, you will remember this verbally in your minds so that you never have to look at a book again. Okay. Once you guys are ready to move on, let me know, inshallah. And if you need help understanding any of the notes, please let me know. It can never be actually in an advanced verb, it does become fatha. But it's not a hamzatul wasl, it's a hamzatul qata. It's the opposite. Like a definite hamza. Definite. Qata means it's definitely there. It's real. It's not going to disappear.
Could you read step 5 real quick again?
Number 5. Look at the second letter of the verb. If it has fatha or kasra, the hamza gets a kasra. If the second letter of the verb has a dhamma, the hamza also gets a dhamma. So we'll look at it in practice right now. Okay? I'm going to begin to erase the steps.
Very good.
One's good? Alright, so the example we just had was that of rakiba, which is the past tense. What was the present tense of this verb? Guys, help me out. What was the present tense of rakab?
Present tense.
Not tar, just regular. Yarkabu. Very good. And then the reason we chose not to use yarkabu was what?
Because it's second person.
Second person.
We have to make it second person. Why? Because right now we're commanding someone directly. And in order to do that, you need a ta. So yarkabu would become tarkabu. Now, I haven't told you step 6 yet.
Oh,
So just hold on for a second.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. Can you explain that one more time?
So,
Why'd you do that?
because yarkabu means he is writing.
Yeah.
We want it to be you are writing. Because we need the verb to be second person because we're talking to that person in the
Okay.
second person.
Okay.
Alright, so yarkabu would become tarkabu. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, here's what step 2 was. Step 1 was what?
Step 1.
Add the ta.
No, step 1 was what?
Who am I commanding?
Who am I commanding? We established we're commanding one man. Good. Now, step 2 was to find the second person verb corresponding to whoever you're commanding. So, the second person verb that corresponds to one man is tarkabu. That's where our step 2 came in. Step 3 says, get rid of the letter that is a prefix here. What's the prefix here? It's a ta. Step 4 says to replace that ta with a hamzatul wasl or a temporary hamza. Step 5 says what? Look at which letter?
That's second.
Which letter?
Second letter.
Second letter, the kaf.
Yeah.
If it has a fatha, then we give the hamza a kasra. If it has a kasra, we give the hamza a
Kasra.
If it has a dhamma, we give the hamza a dhamma. Okay. We've done that so far. Step 6.
Oh, whoa.
Irkabu.
Step 6 says,
Oh wow.
Take the last letter.
Shit.
now, that's not, we're not done.
My favorite.
If it ends in
Right?
No, it's part 6. All caps part.
Oh, the book. Oh, I see. So this is all the verbiage.
we still got one more footnote for this one.
Okay, interesting. I know.
Okay? Okay? Instead of the sukoon. We still got one more footnote, guys. So this lesson's very interesting. If
This is a second number.
okay. I know there's a lot of info, it seems like useless to you, but if you now have it in a place where you can reference this note, inshallah, you're not going to get this cheat code on any internet website, any book in English. I'm just making it easy. So now let's go ahead and actually figure out how this works. Is everyone done taking the notes? Yeah, tarkab now. You would say, ir. Yeah, you don't mess with it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So in the case of irkabu, how do we apply step 6?
Make it long.
What do we do?
Make it plural.
No. right here. This is how far we've gotten in making the verb from tarkabu.
Yeah.
So what do I do now in order to apply rule 6?
I'll give an ending to support.
So how do I do that?
You take away the number.
Good. So how do I read it, Ahmed? That's right. Irkab is the command. Now, as an Arab, you didn't learn it in all of these steps. You just know irkab means
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right, right?
Imshi, walk.
Right? Imshi,
كل
kul.
Isma.
It seems isma. It seems like they all end in sukun, but they don't all end in sukun. That's why the rules are important. Okay. So let's restart this process, but we're gonna do it with a couple of verbs. Okay? So verb number 1 that I want you to make a command for is we're gonna command 2 men to go.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So step 6. So if it's plural feminine,
Who do nothing.
forget that. So what if it ends in the other one?
Then you remove the noon. It says that.
You just remove the note.
Yeah. Yeah. So as long as you got the note down, inshallah, you'll be able to figure out number 1. All right, you guys have to go through this step by step, 1 through 6. So don't just give me the answer. Not rough, not rough, not rough.
That's not full stop.
It's actually full stop.
Is it full stop?
Yeah. But we're using dhahaba.
Okay.
روح is actually a way to say go.
Yeah, it's pronounced roh, not roh. Yeah, you got it right, Wa'il, but you're the kid in math class who doesn't show his work.
No, I just did.
I know you did. Just share it so that everyone understands how you got to it. All right, so we want to take the word of dhahaba. What does step 1 say? Step 1 says what?
Ask
Who am I talking? I'm talking to 2 guys. Step 2 says what?
Two men. Okay. Make it second person.
Grab the second.
What? What do you mean make it second person? Get the second person what?
Present tense.
Present tense verb. So what's the present tense of dhahaba?
يذهب.
Yadhabu. Is that the verb I need?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not
It's
second
singular
person.
person.
Because it's not what?
It's only. It's not two.
It's singular and it's not second person.
Yeah.
So how do I make it dual? Ta is dual?
No, second.
يذهبان.
Second person.
يذهبان.
Yes. Annie is how I say 2. 2 guys are going. Yadhabani. All right. What else is it that I have to complete of this step?
Second person.
Second person. So how do I do that? Yadhabani.
Remove the ten.
All right. The next step says remove the letter that is prefixed on this verb. In this case, it is the ta. We got rid of it. Step 4 says put Hamzatul Wasl. Step 5 says what about the Hamzatul Wasl? The ha has a fatha,
So you put a custom.
so I put a kasra. Very nice. Step 6 says what?
Remove the alif and noon.
Remove the alif and nun.
I mean, the
Just the
noon.
noon.
The noon.
Just the nun. So what is my final verb?
يذهبان.
Idhaba. And that's in the Quran, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to Musa and Harun and he says idhaba ila fir'aun.
Ah.
Right? He doesn't say idhab ila fir'aun. Lesh.
Because it's two.
Because he's talking to 2. Make sense? So if a command ends in alif, what does that kind of tell you so far?
There's two people.
It's being 2. It's 2 being command. That's not a hard and fast rule, by the way.
Okay.
All right, let's try another example though. This time we're commanding
2 girls to cook.
3 men.
That's so hard.
Sweat.
I don't know the verb.
We're trying to say open to 3 men. Right, so you already know the process, Amir, so you can say that. That's correct. Right? But doing it in this 6-step order, I know it seems redundant. There's a benefit to why I'm telling you to do
No,
it.
I agree. That's just what came to my head. What I would, if I had to tell somebody, just
Good. So let's very briefly go through the 6
So
steps.
fataha, then it becomes
Fataha. We need, step 2 says, after you figured out who you're commanding, make the verb that corresponds to them.
yeftahu.
Yaftahu.
That's so now I have to put in the right tense in the present tense.
Okay, so how do I change it?
Yaftahu.
Yaftahu.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, is it huna?
يفتحون.
I gotta forget.
Or sorry.
In the imaginary.
يفعل يفعلان لا يفعلون يفعلون. Right? So يفتح.
Yaftahuna.
Yes. What's a dual?
Yaftahana.
يفتحان. And then the plural is?
Yaftahuna.
يفتحون. Okay, good. Is that the verb I want?
Yeah,
No,
that's the verb you
remove
can
the
take. No.
nun.
Are you commanding like they're in front of your face?
Yeah, I'm commanding them.
Okay,
Right?
so change the ya to ta.
Very good. It has to be second person. تفتحون. What's the next step?
Remove the tent.
Remove the ta.
Yeah.
Very good. What's the next step?
Hamzatul
Hamzatul wasl. What do I give the Hamzatul wasl?
Kasra.
Give it a kasra. Why?
Because the second.
Okay, very nice. What else do I do?
Remove the nun.
Move the noon.
Iftahu.
And what are we left with?
Iftahu.
Iftahu. All right. Here's one last thing. If you remove the nun from a plural word, you have to replace it with the fake alif.
But that just makes
Like,
it-
you know, fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'alu.
Yeah.
It ends in an alif.
Yeah.
Well, iftahu ends in an imaginary alif. It's not a big deal right now. Inshallah, you get used to it. Nah, it's just to tell the listener, hey, there used to be a nun here.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just like a placeholder. And it only happens in plural male. I can't tell you the rationale here right now. All right, iftahu. Let's try this one. We're telling 3 women.
To cook.
No. To help.
To help.
No, not the word sa'id. Let's just, we'll use nasara for now. That's a complex verb. We'll get to that, inshallah. All right? We're going to use the word nasara. What do I do?
Now we gave present tense.
Nasara. No.
Yeah.
Yansuru.
What's
No,
the
woman
skeletal
is
to that one?
Tansur.
And then it would be.
Ansuru? Suru. Yeah, so the sad gets a wow, right? Or the dhamma.
Nasara, as you said, young
Suru.
suru.
But it shouldn't be Tansur, it's female.
All right. Why it says it shouldn't be yansuru, it should be tansuru. Why do you say that?
It's female.
It's supposed to be female, but it's not supposed to be female singular. This is female singular. We want to make it F3 plus.
That's female singular third person as well, right?
Yeah, that's third person.
So that would be.
We got to make it second person.
Is it
Tansuruna? No.
Asra.
See where your Achilles heel in Arabic is? It's your memorization of charts.
Tansurna?
Very good. What'd you say?
Tansurna.
Correct. So let's go through all 14 as an exercise. How do we say about 1 man?
Yansur.
Yansuru. How do we say about 2 men?
Yansur.
No. Yansurani. Yansurani. How do we say about 3 men?
Yansuruna.
Yansuruna. How do I say about 1 female? Yeah, relax. 1 female. How do I say about 1 female?
Yansuru.
Dansuru. Dansurani. How do I say about 3 females?
Yansurna.
Yansurna, not Dansurna. Yansurna. Okay, but guess what? That's also wrong. Why is that wrong? Because that's third person. So let's go to the second person. How do I speak to 1 man and say, you are helping? Dansuru. Very good. 2 men. Dansurani. 3 men. Dansuruna. 1 girl. 1 female. Dansurina. 2 women. Dansurani. Dansurna.
You need the chart.
You need the chart.
It's, I think, lesson.
Yeah, you gotta go through the chart. That's where it gets tough.
Lesson 6.
That's another 4 since this one's
Tansuna is that?
might be 7.
Yansur. You remember the plural female ends up getting a yeah? Alright guys, help me out. we gotta transform this. Transformation, let's do it faster. Now we're not even gonna explain what the steps are. We're just gonna do it. Yan sunnah or tan sunnah, what do I first do? Why with the dhamma? Alright, the sad has a dhamma. What else?
No, actually, no. Keep it.
There you go. There you go.
Keep the move, put an imaginary alif.
No, keep it. You keep it because it's plural female. It's plural female, so you keep it.
Thank you, Wa'il. Remember the last condition in step 6 was, if we're talking about multiple women, then skip this step entirely. Plural feminine doesn't even have this rule. Okay? And the reason for that is simple. If you imagine getting rid of this noon, you know what would happen?
It would become.
It'd be the guy, right?
It would be a command to a man. So the plural female noon just stays. Okay? If I said unsur, that would be me talking to a man, but I'm not talking to a man. I'm talking to 3 women. That's why we keep the noon of plural femininity alive in Arabic. We can't change it. Okay? So the example here is an example where the Hamzatul Wasl took a dhamma and the Sad took a dhamma because the Sad had a dhamma. We're going to do 3 more examples and we're going to move on to nahy. Okay? The next one will be
Like what?
saying right
To one female.
to one female.
Right.
Oh.
Katabti? That's past tense slang. That means you wrote. I'm not trying to say you wrote. I'm trying to tell her.
No, that's not.
Right. You got it. So you know it in memory. You got it because that's how you speak, which is good. But let's just decipher how we got to that result. So it's kataba, very good. But we don't want the past tense. We want the present tense, which is yak. What? Yaktu. I know you're used to saying yaktu. Right? Now, but yaktubu is not the right verb. What word do we need? So you're skipping this in your brain. I think. Not taktubi. Tak to. That's the second person verb that's given to a female for writing. Taktubina. So if you knew that from the chart, you could logically follow these steps and get to the right answer. What's the next step? Get rid of the ta, insert. Alif. What do I give it? Why? Ta has dhamma. And then what do we get at last? We dropped it. So what we're left with?
And then do we put imaginary alif or no?
No. We only do that in plural male. Okay? Uktubi. I'm sorry?
Oh, that's a good question actually.
Uktubi with the mud.
Oh, wow.
Uktubi. Yeah. This man took husbandry class.
Yeah, he's not married yet.
I know. All right. Last two. Last two. All right.
That's cool.
I'm on a leash.
So he can say whatever he wants.
I must always say that on
Alright.
whether I mean it or not. I'm just being sarcastic.
I'm gonna record the clip.
We're going Jersey Mike's for the group ones. There's a mail. Check it out. Make sure you get that to them, dog.
Slaughtered that out. That's a T slaughtered.
Is it them?
It's a verb, buddy. So we would say na.
My bad.
Buddy by the teacher.
Buddy.
Alright.
This is the easiest one. I think we're all used to this one, right?
It's easy. Yeah. So what's the present tense of dhabaha? Yadhabu? Yadhabu. But we need to make it third person, right? Second person, I mean.
Right.
So what's the second person version of?
So, you know, first,
I'm sorry?
oh yeah, it is.
So tadbahu, and then what do I do? Hamzatul wasl, what do I give the Hamza? Kasra. What do I do to the ending?
Make it sukoon.
Sukoon.
I have to give it a sukoon. Why do I have to give it a sukoon? Because it doesn't end in una, it doesn't end in ani, it doesn't end in ina, and it's not plural feminine. Therefore, I have to give it a sukoon. What I'm left with is the verb, or the command, which is idbah.
اذبح دجاجة.
Very nice. اذبح دجاجة لي لو سمحت. Lastly,
And you're right on YouTube.
as we move on past this lesson, inshallah, next class we're going to be doing all the exercises from this lesson. Today we're looking at the opposite of amr, which is nahy. And it's not the opposite of amr, it's more like a different type of amr. It's a different type of command. Because in reality, a prohibition is a command to not do something. So in Arabic, forming this is very easy.
Is it just la?
Is it just la? Actually, it's not just la.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay, so here's what the steps are. There's 6 steps. Pretty easy.
No, 6 steps. No.
So it was easy.
But guess what, guys?
Is there 4 footnotes in the last step as well?
Yes, actually,
They're
there are.
probably the same, right?
Alright, step number 1 remains the same as a regular command. Step number 2 is the same. Step number 3, what was step 3 in the other one?
Remove the 10.
Alright, don't do step number 3.
Okay, so we skip that one.
Step number 3, what was step number 4?
Insert Hamza's lesson.
We're gonna skip that. What's step number 5?
Look at the second letter.
Okay, so in reality, step number 3 is insert la before the verb.
So it is.
I like that.
And step number 4 is the same as step 6 in the other one.
So if it's female, the female footnote, still.
Yeah, the exact same rules. Alright, what does that look like in practice? In practice, I want you to understand, we did the word kataba, and we made a command to how many people to write?
1. Or in the last example, right? That's 1 goal, right?
No, kataba we did earlier.
Was it not 1 female we're talking about?
I think I did it on the board.
Look up.
Now, no, kataba. So anyhow, kataba, write. I want to say write to 2 men.
Yeah.
Okay? So what was step 1 again?
Who am I commanding?
Oh my
What am I
God.
commanding? I'm commanding 2 men.
Yeah.
What was step 2?
Make it in the.
Find the right verb. So what is the right verb that I would need for 2 men?
Tabani.
Dak, not da.
Yeah.
Tubani.
Dak tu.
Tubani.
Dak tu bani.
Tubani.
What was step 3?
No prefix, right?
This one.
No, in this one.
La taktubani.
Tubah.
And then it'll be la taktubani.
Dak tu bani. And then step number 4 is give the ending a sukoon except if it ends in
Ina and.
ina, ani, and una, in which case I do what instead? Remove the noon. So what am I left with? La tak, not to.
Too bad.
You guys understand
Yeah.
how this is made? Instead of doing the whole prefix, let's change it for Hamza al-Wasl. We're just putting la in the beginning. But the ending, we still give it a.
The ending will still give the sukoon.
We give it a sukoon or
Drop the noon.
drop the noon or
Keep it the same if you
don't do anything at all. So step 6 is still important. Steps 3, 4, and 5 we skip. And we instead put the word la before our verb. Let's do one more example with nahi before it is that we conclude with the discussion of amr and nahi.
Say don't go.
Let's do a longer sentence. Yeah.
Same
except for opposite.
This is a challenge question for you all.
We skip a bunch of steps. We skip a bunch of steps with it. No Hamza to Wasl. Yeah. Same as 1, same as 2. No Hamza to Wasl. Add for that, and then 6.
You maintain the prefix, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the last step is the same as the last step.
Sheikh, are there quotation marks in Arabic?
In modern Arabic, yeah. In classical, no.
Yeah, water is kind of Arabic. Yeah. Like the public Muslims in Arabic. I was like, well, it's not Muslims in Arabic. Hold on.
Do we have English like non-translation?
Second one is the same.
Like, we're saying,
How would we say this in Arabic?
there's no word for you to. Exactly. There is? Oh, okay.
Alright, so what words do we need to translate that we don't know already?
Employee.
Employee. Very nice. The word for employee is the word
Job.
we talked about it last week. Ajiri. Ajir means like a laborer, you know, someone that works for you.
Is lazy kasar?
Kasala. So the verb we're gonna look for is actually kasala
Yaksiru.
yaksiru. Think so?
Well, that's the no tone.
You've heard this verb? Have you heard that verb before in the past?
I don't think so.
No, it's actually kasila
There's a
yaksalu on the pattern of sami'a yasma'u. Kasila is the past tense. The past tense is kasila,
Or lazy.
and the present tense is yaksalu.
So lazy is a verb? Or the act of being lazy is a verb?
Yeah, yeah, to be lazy, right? Yeah.
What's a notebook?
What's
Notebook.
notebook? Notebook in Arabic. Can someone help us out? We'll use kurasa for now.
It's a noun before verb.
That's in your book.
You gotta know what?
Like the Kasila Yaksal.
Like you gotta know the bab.
Yeah.
Remember I told you Samia Yasma are negative characteristics.
Oh.
So when I said laziness, you could have thought,
Yeah.
well, it might come from that bab, and it does.
Okay.
Sheikh said, it said qal.
Qala, yeah. Yeah. The word for said, we're just gonna use qala for now. Qala. Alright. What did Khalid say? The word for look for, we probably don't know that. Okay? So the verb, the past tense verb which is searched is bahatha. Bahatha. This means to search. And the word for is going to be an. Okay? I know an doesn't mean for to you guys, but I told you don't take a harf jar's translation for granted. They mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay? So bahatha is the past tense word for search. The present tense is yabhathu. How do you know that? Huh? How'd you know?
How do I know?
Yeah. No, it's because I told you a trick last time. That is, if the second or third letter come from the letters of huruf halqiyya, the letters of idhar, it'll automatically be in the bab of fatha yaftahu. Yeah, oh, you just mashallah, you forgot the rule, but you applied the rule in life. Remind us of it.
He knows the answer.
It might be private.
He doesn't know why, he just knows he's right.
I just go, if it sounds good, yo, I'm serious. I took a test. I took the test for the babs, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything, and we were doing, what's the
Yeah, it's actually
the
the
book you
Quran.
translate?
Yeah, it's the Quran. I know.
You know the book you translate, right?
Qasas in the
Qasas in the Nabi. I was guessing it from the top of my head all properly.
Yeah, you just have to look for it. Alright, did you figure this one out, Safi? Have you figured it out? Khalid said to the employee.
1 second.
I think I got it.
How do we say two? Ila is when you go from point A to
Li, right?
so we would say li.
Lil Ajiri.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, we can't say ila. Ila is for movements. Right?
Oh, wow. So it's Ajira, right?
Ajiri. Li, right?
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
No.
Ah,
No.
that
Li.
has-
No.
that's-
Oh.
Be quiet, bro. Lil Ajiri.
ماذا قال للأجير؟
ابحث
ابحث
عن الكراسة.
لا عن كراسة خاصة.
Oh, that's a command. Look for a notebook.
It is.
Yeah.
أو ابحث عن كراسة.
T? يعني كراسة دي.
كراسة.
Yes.
عن كراسة.
Uh-huh.
ولا تكسر.
What?
تكسر.
Yeah. You wrote it wrong. You're saying it right. You wrote it with Hamma. Yeah.
What is it? Soil.
That's,
Oh, step 6, remember? Yeah.
Is employee male or female?
It's male here. Okay. Those of us that have tried. Let us see what you brought forward. Madik, how do we start this? Qala. Khalidun. Why Khalidun?
because he's the person we're talking.
Because he's what?
He's the one speaking, right?
He's the doer, right? He's the doer. All right. Qala Khalidun. Very good. Li Ajilin. Is that correct? I want you guys to listen. He said Qala Khalidun li Ajirin.
Yeah.
Correct? You got a mere stamp of approval. But he falls today.
Really?
Lil Ajiri.
Yeah, so we can't say li ajirin. Why is that? Because I didn't say li saji and employee.
You said no.
So how do I fix that?
So, Lil Ajiri.
Very nice. So lil ajiri. Okay, what did he say?
Look for a notebook. Not lazy. So,
All right, who figured out how to say look for?
ابحث عن.
Ibhath. How'd you get ibhath?
pick the steps. You got 6 of them.
تبحث.
Very yes. We took tabhathu. Then we got rid of the ta. We replaced with an alif. We gave the alif a kasra. And what did we do to the ending?
Make it
We gave it a sukoon. Ibhath. Now look. Ibhath is look. Now we also want to say look for. So how do we say for? An is what type of word?
Arjan.
Harjar. So ibhath an ish.
Sati.
Kurasati.
No, just T regular.
No. Kurasatin. Why, Amir? Your pet peeve is that if there's no alif lam, there has to be
Oh.
tanween. Good. Ibhath an kurasatin. And then what else does he say?
ولا.
What? La. What is la used for? It's used in order to negate. Wala.
Yeah.
Wala taksal. Taksal is the conclusion to steps 1 to 4 for making a nahi. Taksalu, and then you just put a la taksalu, and then you put a sukoon at the end, you get la taksal. Understand? Everyone got it? Very nice. All right. So, perhaps if you still have a little bit of gaps in your understanding of Amr al-Nahi, then the lesson number 9 will be of use to you. Lesson 9, slightly different. If you guys can just pull it up for a sec so I can talk about it. All right. You guys can skip over all of it. No. We're gonna skip over to page number, the exercise on 65, 64. On 64 is ending. Idhab. Number 1 is idhab. Do you guys see idhab?
Yes.
Page 64, bottom of the page. Number 1. Idhab. That's a command. How did I guess that this has to be a command? Hamzatul wasl plus the sukoon at the end. Idhab, therefore, is a command to what type of person? One man. So what does idhab mean? Go. Very nice. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, we see la and we see a sukoon. What does that tell me? It's a negation. La tadhab means do not go. Number 3, I can tell that this is, it's not tasma'u. La tamna'u. It's on the next page. This must also therefore be a nahy. And what do I notice at the end of this word? It has that wow, and then there's an alif. That means there's used to be a noon, which means there used to be plural male, which means this came from the verb la tamna'una. What does tamna'una mean? To forbid, prohibit, prevent. So la tamna'u means what?
Don't forbid those 3 men.
Don't
forbid you 3 men.
You 3 men don't
forbid them.
Don't stop. Don't prevent. All right. So this is actually a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which is la tamna'u ima Allahi masajid Allahi. Ima Allahi means the female servants of Allah. So la tamna'u ima Allahi means do not forbid, do not prohibit the female servants of Allah, masajid Allah, from entering into the houses of Allah. Meaning never prohibit a woman from entering the masjid if she wishes to come into the masjid. This is actually a hadith that Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma heard from his father. Yes. But I said Abdullah ibn Umar. So I'm saying radiallahu anhuma. If I just said Abdullah, I would say radiallahu anhu. Wala in the Quran. Ibda.
Ibda means to start, right?
Yes. Is that the next problem?
No, it's number 4.
Okay. Number 3. Let's look at number 3. Number 4. La tabda'i. I can guess by looking at this verb, who is this command or prohibition to? A single female, because this used to have a noon. So it was ina, which is always second person female. So la tabda'i comes from the Arabic verb bada'a, which Ali, you said means what?
Begin. Start.
He began. So la tabda'i means?
You one woman don't start.
Yeah, you don't have to say that you one woman. Yeah, but I get it. It's helping you remember who you're still. Don't start. Very nice. La tabda'i. Number 5. Look at all of you. Look at number 5. Iftahi. A woman's being commanded.
Don't open.
No, it says iftahi.
Open.
It's not like.
Oh yeah, right.
Iftahi. Very nice. Number 6. لا تحبسنا. لا تبحثنا.
Don't imprison us, right?
No, I said it wrong. لا تبحثنا. We just did ibhath, guys.
Oh, search.
So لا تبحثنا. Don't search. Who are we talking to? 3 females. How do you know?
Yeah, there's a noon at the end.
And we didn't do anything to it.
Plural, 3 women, right?
Yes, 3 women. We're being told don't search. All right, let's look at very fast. I want you all to look at number 7. لا تسمعوا.
3 men.
3 men being commanded. Don't listen. Number 8. Idhaku. How many guys are being commanded? 3 men. What are they being commanded to do? Laugh. Right? What's the bab of laugh?
ضحك يضحك.
No, that's the fatha because it's the hard
Because
letter.
it's sami'a, because it's a negative quality.
That's a good theory. But dhahika is a bodily action.
Oh,
So
that's
no,
right.
you're right. So you actually got it right. It's from Sami'a Yasma. Dhahika yadhaku. Remember there are 2 principles I told you?
Yeah, yeah.
So then this one's expressive. All right, yadhaku means laugh. All right. It's like the comedian.
Yeah.
Just give it. You can
Instead of
laugh.
saying applause, يضحكوا on the top.
Yes, it says that. Probably does say that. All right. Number 9. I'malu. Do.
3 men.
3 men being commanded to do. Its word is in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands the family of Dawood alayhi salam. I'malu ala Dawuda shukran. What does that mean? I'malu ala Dawuda shukran.
Do for
Gratefulness.
Do,
The family of
do, O family of Dawood,
gratitude.
gratitude, meaning be grateful. Make active gratitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you a lot.
It's like a sandwich in a big basically.
Yeah, particularly shukr in their case. All right, our number 10 is isma'a. How many are being commanded? How do you know? So it used to be tasma'ani, right? We can reverse engineer and you put the ta back, you get tasma'ani. That's a way of talking to
Both
men or women. So isma'a means
2 men or women.
you 2 men or you 2 women or you 1 man and 1 woman. Listen carefully. Okay. Listen.
1 man and 1 woman.
You would say the same thing. All right. Number 11. I'lama.
Same thing, but learn.
Learn. You 2 learn. Wala. Number 12. La tal'aba.
Don't play.
How many are being spoken to?
Same 2 people.
2 people.
And don't play.
Very nice. So, before we come back, I have 1 exercise you all have to complete.
Which one? Exercise 2?
2. It's in 4 minutes. We gotta pray.
There's one.
Exercise number 2.
Number 5.
Yeah, that's homework. That's homework. I need you guys to be done with it because I want to go to lesson 10 on Monday, and on Tuesday I need to review. Yes, medic.
Number 5. How is it?
Well, remember.